I recommend you try this practice problem before you watch this video, but if you just can't figure out what I'm asking for, then come back and watch this video. Next week, you'll have a take-home quiz in which you'll need to find errors in a model or models that I give you. So the scenario here is your boss liked your model a lot, took it to the CFO, but the CFO messed it up. So now you have to go through and fix what was broken in the model. And those errors can be any of the following. They can be incorrect math, incorrect use of an Excel function, or certainly incorrect use of absolute relative references. You don't need to worry about the inputs. Let's assume that they're all correct, but check everything else in the model that I give you. For example, we know that the biggest pitfall with NPV is to not take this first cash flow out of the NPV because it discounts everything inside the NPV function. We want to put that first cash flow outside so it doesn't get discounted. And now we're doing this correctly. I guess another error we have here is now we're discounting at the tax rate. That's an error. We need to be discounting at the discount rate. Now I think that formula is correct. Next, if you look at the calculation of NPV per share, that should be the total NPV divided by the shares outstanding, not subtracted. So let's jump over here to the solutions and talk through why each one is wrong. Okay, so we talked about the NPV. The first cash flow should not be discounted, and we should use the discount rate. And by the way I got these formulas in here, I didn't type them. I simply came over and hit F2, copied that text with Control-C, hit Escape, and then when I came over here to type the correct or the incorrect formula, put a single quote and then Control-V to paste. And that's the easy way to populate these two columns. So moving back over, other errors that I found, besides the two we looked at on the previous page, this is an important one. I see this in homework all the time. Too many absolute references. If we look at this range D24 through G24, actually all the calculations are correct. Any given year is taking the previous year times 1 plus the revenue growth rate. And that's correct in every single year. So the answers are not wrong. The problem is, if we wanted to copy this over to more years, it would not copy because we've got absolute references on the previous year where we don't need them. For example, I should be able to copy this cell to the next cell and hit paste and get the same number, but I don't because we had that absolute reference over here. I'm going to undo that. And so you see here why we don't need the dollar signs on the C in 24 is so we can copy them. The next row was the exact opposite problem. Again, we're getting the right answers, but we can't copy this formula because there are no absolute references on E15. Even though the next cell still looks at E15, it's because somebody took the time to go in there and do those by hand. That takes forever, and it precludes us from being able to copy like so. So we don't want to do that. That formula should look like this instead of this one. Now, anytime there's a whole range of formulas like that are wrong, just tell me the range and tell me how the first one was wrong and how the first one could be fixed. You don't need to tell me how each individual formula was wrong and how it needed to be fixed. So similarly, here on row 27, we didn't have any absolute references. And this time we got the wrong answer. I see this in the homework all the time where someone forgot to lock that cell and copied it, and it keeps looking for the relative reference up here. There's no expense growth rate up there. Looks like in that formula there was another error that I missed, that we're using expense growth rate. We should have been using the tax rate on row 27. Use tax Oops, right, not. And so instead of looking at row 16, it should have been looking at row 17. So let's fix that. And you may find others that I missed, but I think you get the idea of what I'm looking for. This will be your take-home quiz. You're to work individually on it. You can use any book or notes or anything you can find on the internet, except solutions to my quiz. So good luck and have fun.